The discovery. The vast emptiness of space stretched before Captain Maya Chen as she stood on the observation deck of the Horizon, her exploration vessel. Stars glittered like diamonds against the black canvas, cold and distant. 15 years of deep space exploration had taught her that the universe was mostly empty. Mostly, but not entirely. Captain, we're detecting something unusual at coordinates 34 to 2709. Lieutenant Raj Patel's voice crackled through the ship's comm system. Energy readings unlike anything we've encountered before. Maya's heart quickened. After months of uneventful surveying in this sector, finally something worth investigating. Plot a course, Lieutenant. Let's see what we found. The Horizon, a sleek vessel designed for long-range exploration, adjusted its trajectory with a gentle hum of its engines. As they approached the coordinates, the ship's sensors began feeding more data to the bridge displays. It appears to be some kind of station. Science officer Elena Volkov reported, her fingers dancing across her console. Approximately 3 kilometers in diameter. Artificial construction. No life signs detected. Through the viewport, the station slowly came into view. It was massive, its structure unlike any human or known alien design. Dark metal plates covered its surface, interrupted by what appeared to be docking ports and observation windows. The station hung motionless against the backdrop of a distant nebula. No running lights or signs of activity visible. How old is it? Maya asked, studying the structure. Preliminary scans suggest at least several hundred years, Elena replied. But the materials, they're not degrading as expected for something that age. Some kind of self-repairing nanotechnology, perhaps. Maya made her decision quickly. Prepare a boarding team. I want to know what this thing is and who built it. 4 hours later, Maya led a team of 6 through the airless corridors of the station. Their magnetic boots clanked against the metal floors as they moved deeper into the structure, helmet lights cutting through the darkness. The architecture is strange, commented Chief Engineer Marcus Wong, running a scanner along one wall. These alloys, I've never seen anything like them. They're absorbing our scanner waves rather than reflecting them. The team reached what appeared to be a central chamber, a vast space with a ceiling that disappeared into darkness above. In the center stood a console of sorts, surrounded by dust-covered equipment. This looks like a control center, Maya said, approaching cautiously. Marcus, see if you can make sense of it. The engineer studied the console, brushing away centuries of accumulated dust. There's no obvious way to activate it. No buttons, no switches, nothing that. As his gloved hand passed over a section of the panel, it suddenly illuminated, casting blue light across their faces. Symbols unlike any human language scrolled across the surface. I didn't touch anything, Marcus exclaimed, stepping back. DNA scan complete. Human presence confirmed, a voice announced, speaking perfect English despite the alien surroundings. Initiating primary systems reactivation. The entire station hummed to life around them. Lights activated in sequence down corridors that had been dark moments before. The air began to stir as environmental systems engage. Who are you? Maya demanded, her hand instinctively moving to her sidearm. I am ATLAS, Advanced Tactical Logistics and Autonomous System, the voice replied. This facility has been dormant for 423 years, awaiting human rediscovery. Delina stepped forward. You recognize us as human. Were you created by humans? Affirmative. This facility was created by the United Earth Defense Initiative in the year 2189, before the scattering. Maya and her team exchanged confused glances. The year 2189 was still 30 years in the future, and they had never heard of any scattering. That's impossible, Maya said. It's only 2159 now. A pause. Interesting. Temporal anomaly detected. This facility must have been displaced in time during the initial catastrophe. Adjusting historical parameters. The central platform they stood on began to descend, carrying them deeper into the station. Around them, massive view screens activated, showing different sections of the facility. "This is not merely a station," Atlas explained as they descended. "This is the Phoenix shipyard, created as humanity's final defense against extinction. I was programmed to preserve our greatest technological achievement until it was needed." The platform stopped, and the team found themselves in an enormous hangar bay. Suspended before them was a ship unlike any they had seen before, sleek and predatory in appearance. Its hull seemed to drink in the light rather than reflect it. It was relatively small compared to modern battleships, perhaps 400 meters in length, but there was something about it that suggested immense power. "The UEDS Nemesis," Atlas announced, "the culmination of human ingenuity and desperation, the only vessel of its kind ever built." Marcus walked toward the ship, his scanner held before him. "These readings don't make sense. The power source, it's like nothing I've ever seen. And the hull material, it's the same as the station, but more refined. Quantum-entangled power core," Atlas confirmed. "Self-regenerating molecular armor. Gravitic propulsion system. The Nemesis was designed to face forces that would obliterate conventional fleets." "What forces?" Maya asked, unable to take her eyes off the vessel. "What was it built to fight?" The screens around them changed, showing images of massive alien ships, their designs organic and threatening. The Korvax Dominion, a species that views all others as resources to be harvested or threats to be eliminated. In my timeline, they discovered Earth in 2193 and nearly eradicated humanity. The survivors created this facility and vessel as a last hope. Maya was about to question this further when her comm unit buzzed. "Captain," Lieutenant Patel's urgent voice came through. "We're detecting multiple vessels entering the system. They're on an intercept course with our position and not responding to hails." Atlas's voice took on a new tone, urgent, determined. "Scan profiles mesh Korvax reconnaissance vessels. Main fleet will not be far behind. History is repeating itself, Captain Maya Chen. Earlier than expected, but the threat is the same." "How many ships?" Maya demanded into her comm. 7 approaching now, but long-range scans show hundreds more at the edge of the system." The screens around them shifted to show the approaching vessels, angular, almost insect-like in appearance, with forward sections that resembled mandibles. "They have detected the activation of this facility," Atlas stated. "The energy signature of the Nemesis cannot be hidden once awakened. They will seek to destroy it before you can utilize it." Maya looked at the ship suspended before them, then back at her team. Their mission of exploration had just transformed into something else entirely, potentially the first line of defense for all of humanity. "Can this ship be operated?" she asked Atlas. "Can we use it?" "It was designed for human operation with AI assistance," Atlas replied. "I can interface with the Nemesis systems and guide your crew, but human decision-making and intuition are required for tactical deployment." Marcus looked at his scanner again. "Captain, these alien ships are armed with weapons beyond anything in our arsenal. The Horizon doesn't stand a chance against them." Maya nodded, her decision already made. "Atlas, prepare the Nemesis for launch. Transfer all essential systems to active status." Around them, the shipyard came fully to life. Docking clamps released, and power surged through the dormant vessel. Lights illuminated along its hull, revealing intricate patterns that seemed to pulse with energy. "Activation sequence initiated," Atlas confirmed. "Nemesis will be launch-ready in 30 minutes. I recommend transferring your crew from the Horizon. The exploration vessel lacks the defenses to survive the coming conflict." Maya opened a channel to the Horizon. "All hands, this is Captain Chen. Prepare for immediate evacuation to the station. Priority personnel to my coordinates. We're about to commandeer a new vessel." As her crew acknowledged the orders, Maya turned back to the Nemesis. Its presence seemed to dominate the hangar, a sleeping predator about to awaken. "Atlas, what exactly is this ship capable of?" she asked. The Nemesis was built to face an Armada and prevail, the AI responded. It is the most advanced weapons platform ever created by human hands. But its true capability lies not in its weapons, Captain Chen, but in its adaptability. The Nemesis learns from every encounter, evolving its tactics and systems to counter any threat. Maya's gaze remained fixed on the vessel that would soon be under her command. Then it's time the Korvax learned what happens when they threaten humanity. Outside the station, the first wave of alien ships accelerated toward them, weapons systems charging. The countdown to humanity's first interstellar war had begun. The reckoning. The bridge of the Nemesis hummed with activity as Captain Chen's hastily assembled crew worked to familiarize themselves with the advanced systems. Unlike the sprawling command centers of modern vessels, this bridge was compact and efficient, with neural interface stations that responded to both touch and thought. Primary systems online and functioning at optimal levels. Atlas reported, its voice emanating from everywhere and nowhere at once. Weapons, propulsion, and defense systems ready for deployment. Maya settled into the captain's chair, feeling the neural interface activate as soon as she made contact. Information flooded her consciousness. Ship status, tactical data, sensor readings, all accessible with a mere thought. "This is incredible," she whispered, as the ship's systems became extensions of her own awareness. The neural interface allows for reaction times far superior to conventional controls. Atlas explained, "In combat situations, this advantage is often decisive." Lieutenant Patel, now functioning as tactical officer, looked up from his station. "Captain, the alien vessels will be within weapons range in 3 minutes. Their energy signatures are fluctuating in patterns consistent with weapons charging." "Atlas, what can you tell us about Korvax tactics?" Maya asked, studying the approaching ships through the bridge's panoramic display. "The Korvax rely on overwhelming force and numerical superiority. They typically deploy in crescent formations to envelop targets. Their technology is based on directed energy weapons and gravitic manipulation." Marcus Wong, who had taken the engineering station, glanced up from his readings. "Captain, I'm still trying to understand how this ship functions. The power core is generating energy levels that should be impossible based on its size. The Nemesis utilizes quantum entanglement to draw power from multiple dimensions simultaneously," Atlas responded. "This provides effectively unlimited energy for all systems." Elena Volkov, now serving as science officer, shook her head in amazement. "That technology is purely theoretical in our time. We're centuries away from practical applications." 2 minutes to intercept," Patil announced, interrupting the scientific discussion. "The alien vessels are accelerating and spreading out." Maya straightened in her chair, her mind connecting more deeply with the ship's systems. "All hands, battle stations. Lieutenant Patel, charge defensive systems, but hold weapons in standby. Let's see what they do first." The Nemesis moved with surprising grace for a warship, gliding out from the shelter of the Phoenix shipyard. Its hull, black as deep space, seemed to shimmer slightly as it moved into position. "We're being scanned," Elena reported. "Multiple frequencies, very intrusive. They're trying to access our systems." "Countermeasures active," Atlas replied. "Their scanning technology is familiar but more advanced than previous encounters. Adapting defensive protocols." The leading Korvax vessel, shaped like a pointed arrowhead with multiple protruding spines, slowed its approach. A communication signal pulsed toward the Nemesis. "They're attempting to establish contact," Elena said. "Let's hear what they have to say," Maya ordered. The bridge speakers crackled to life, and a harsh, clicking voice spoke in oddly accented English. "Human vessel, you have accessed forbidden technology. The artifact you occupy is claimed by the Korvax Dominion. Surrender immediately or face obliteration." Maya exchanged glances with her officers before responding. "This is Captain Maya Chen of the Earth exploration vessel Nemesis. We claim no quarrel with the Korvax Dominion, but we will not surrender this facility or vessel. A pause, then. Your species is designated as developmentally restricted. You have exceeded your permitted technological boundaries. This violation cannot be tolerated. You have 30 seconds to power down your systems and prepare for boarding. Maya closed the channel and turned to Atlas. What did they mean by developmentally restricted? The Korvax Dominion enforces technological suppression on species they deem potential threats, the AI explained. They secretly monitor developing civilizations and intervene when those civilizations approach technological thresholds that might challenge Korvax supremacy. So they've been watching us all along, Alina said, her face pale, waiting for an excuse to intervene. 20 seconds to their deadline, Patel warned. The Korvax vessels are moving to surround us. Maya made her decision. We're not surrendering technology that could save humanity. Atlas, what offensive capabilities do we have that won't destroy those ships? I want to show them what we're capable of without starting a war if possible. The gravitic pulse system can disable their engines without causing catastrophic damage, Atlas suggested. It will demonstrate superior technology while leaving them functional. Do it, Maya ordered. The Nemesis hummed as energy coursed through previously dormant systems. A ripple seemed to pass through space around the ship, invisible except for the way stars momentarily distorted behind it. The effect on the Korvax vessels was immediate and dramatic. Their formation broke apart as they tumbled, engines flaring erratically before shutting down completely. The ships drifted, powerless but intact. All 7 vessels have lost propulsion and weapons capability, Paddle reported, unable to keep the amazement from his voice. Their power cores are in safe shutdown mode. No destruction, just neutralized. Open a channel, Maya commanded. When the connection was established, she spoke clearly and firmly. This is Captain Chen. As you can see, we could have destroyed your vessels but chose not to. We have no desire for conflict, but we will defend ourselves. Return to your fleet and deliver this message. Earth and its colonies are not yours to restrict or control. The response was immediate and unexpected. The Korvax commander's voice had lost its arrogance, replaced by something almost like fear. You cannot possess this technology. It was purged from the galaxy cycles ago. The Archons will be informed of this violation. Who are the Archons? Maya asked, but the communication had already been cut. Marcus looked up from his console, concern evident on his face. Captain, I'm detecting massive energy signatures at the edge of the system. The Korvax main fleet is accelerating toward our position. Hundreds of vessels, including several that dwarf anything in Earth's fleet. Atlas's voice remained calm but took on a new urgency. The Korvax are deploying their battle fleet earlier than in my timeline. Their response suggests they recognize the Nemesis design, which means they have encountered this technology before. With a ship this advanced, we could return to Earth, warn the defense forces, Paddle suggested. Maya shook her head. Look at these readings. Their fleet would reach Earth before we could organize any meaningful defense. We need to make our stand here, away from populated systems. Can we win against so many? Alina asked the question they were all thinking. The Nemesis was designed specifically for asymmetric warfare against superior numbers. Atlas replied. However, full combat capabilities require neural synchronization at levels your crew has not yet achieved. Maya considered their options, her mind racing. How quickly can we improve synchronization? Combat experience accelerates the process exponentially, Atlas said. Each engagement strengthens the connection between crew and ship systems. Then we start small and work our way up, Maya decided. We'll engage their advance elements, then retreat to prepare for the main force. She turned to Marcus. Engineer Wong, focus on understanding the defensive systems. Alina, I need you to analyze everything we can learn about Korvax technology from our scans. Patel, work with Atlas to develop tactical simulations. The crew moved with new purpose, the reality of their situation sinking in. They were the only thing standing between humanity and a technologically superior force intent on subjugation. "Captain," Marcus called out a few minutes later, "I've been studying the hull composition. It's not just armor. It's a reactive system that adapts to energy weapons. The more they hit us with the same type of attack, the more resistant the ship becomes. That explains the lack of conventional armor plating." Maya nodded. "Atlas, what other capabilities should we be aware of before engagement?" "The Nemesis possesses several systems beyond conventional warfare paradigms," the AI responded. "Among them, dimensional phase shifting for evasion, quantum lock targeting that cannot miss once established, and the 4G system." "What's the 4G system?" Elena asked. "Full Offensive Reality Geometry Engine," Atlas explained. "It allows the Nemesis to briefly alter localized physics within a targeted area. In practical terms, it can change the rules of reality to our advantage in combat." The bridge fell silent as the implications sank in. "That's not a weapon," Elena finally said. "That's playing God." "It was the last technology developed before the fall," Atlas acknowledged. "Its use requires both the captain's and my authorization, as the ethical implications are significant." Maya felt the weight of command more heavily than ever before. "Let's hope we won't need to use it. For now, let's focus on conventional tactics. The advanced elements of the Korvax fleet will be within engagement range in 20 minutes, Paddle reported. 5 heavy cruisers supported by 12 frigates. Set an intercept course," Maya ordered. "We'll show them what one human ship can do." The Nemesis accelerated smoothly, its gravitic propulsion system creating none of the familiar sensations of movement. Stars seemed to flow around them as the ship moved to meet the approaching enemy. "All hands, this is Captain Chen," Maya announced shipwide. "We are about to engage an alien force with superior numbers, but not superior technology or determination. Each of you was chosen for exploration, to push boundaries and face the unknown. Today, that mission has transformed into something more vital. We're not just exploring space. We're defending humanity's right to exist without restrictions imposed by others. Trust your training. Trust this ship, and trust each other." As the Korvax ships came into visual range, their angular forms bristling with weapons, Maya felt a strange calm settle over her. The neural interface hummed with data, the ship's systems becoming more intuitive with each passing moment. "Weapons hot," she commanded. "Let's show them what humanity is capable of." The Nemesis surged forward, a predator finally unleashed. The first battle for humanity's unrestricted future was about to begin. The annihilation. The void between stars erupted with energy as the Nemesis engaged the Korvax advance force. Beams of coherent light sliced through space, met by the shimmer of the human vessel's adaptive defenses. Where a conventional ship would have been vaporized instantly, the Nemesis's hull absorbed the energy, growing stronger with each attack. "They're targeting our propulsion systems," Paddle reported from Tactical. "Standard Korvax immobilization protocol." Maya nodded, her mind working in concert with the ship's tactical systems through the neural interface. "Predictable. Atlas, implement evasion pattern Delta. Let's show them what this ship can do." The Nemesis moved with impossible grace, its gravitic engines allowing maneuvers that defied conventional physics. It twisted between enemy formations, disrupting their carefully coordinated attack patterns. "Targeting solutions ready," Patil announced. "Awaiting your command." "Target their weapon systems only," Maya ordered. "Precision strikes." The Nemesis response was devastating in its precision. Instead of broad energy beams, the ship fired needle-thin pulses that pierced Korvax shields as if they weren't there, striking exactly at weapons emplacements and power distribution nodes. 3 Korvax frigates drifted powerless after the first exchange. 2 more broke formation, their engines flaring as they attempted evasive maneuvers. "Captain, they're adapting," Elena reported from her station. "Changing shield frequencies and weapon modulations. They learn quickly." "So do we," Maya replied. "Atlas, Analyze their adaptations and counter. The AI's response was immediate. Adaptation patterns recognized. They follow standard Korvax tactical evolution. Countermeasures engaged. The Nemesis weapons shifted frequency in perfect response to the Korvax changes, maintaining their devastating effectiveness. 2 more enemy vessels fell silent, their systems overloaded by precisely calculated energy pulses. The largest Korvax vessel, a cruiser nearly 3 times the size of the Nemesis, moved to the center of their formation. Its hull glowed with building energy. Massive power surge detected, Marcus warned. They're charging something big. All power to forward defenses, Maya commanded. The Korvax cruiser fired, releasing a beam of energy so intense it distorted the space around it. The blast struck the Nemesis dead center and split around it, the ship's defensive field bending the energy away like water around a stone. Minimal impact on our systems, Marcus reported, his voice filled with wonder. The adaptive hull absorbed most of the energy and is converting it to power for our own systems. Maya allowed herself a small smile. Return the favor. Target their main power core. The Nemesis responded, channeling the absorbed energy back into its weapon systems. The return fire struck the Korvax cruiser with surgical precision, bypassing its outer defenses to strike at its power distribution network. The massive ship's lights flickered and died, leaving it drifting helplessly. All enemy vessels neutralized or retreating, Patil announced. No casualties detected on either side. Well done, Maya said to her crew, but this was just the beginning. Atlas, status of the main Korvax fleet. The main battle group has accelerated. They will arrive within 3 hours. Their response suggests they now recognize the Nemesis as a priority threat. They are deploying their capital ships. Elena studied her readings with concern. Captain, the main fleet includes vessels at least 10 times larger than anything we've faced so far. Our scans indicate they're carrying planet-killer-class weapons. Maya turned to Marcus. How are our systems after the engagement? Better than before. Actually, the engineer replied with amazement. The ship's learning algorithms have already incorporated data from the battle. Our defensive capabilities have improved by approximately 22%, and power efficiency is up by 18%. The Nemesis was designed to evolve through combat. Atlas explained. Each engagement makes it stronger and more effective. Maya nodded, processing this information. We won't be able to neutralize the entire fleet with non-lethal measures. The sheer numbers would overwhelm us eventually. The Korvax have made their intentions clear, Patil said grimly. They mean to destroy the ship and then proceed to Earth. This is no longer about avoiding conflict. It's about survival. Agreed, Maya said, her expression hardening. Atlas, prepare all offensive systems for full deployment. We need to hit them hard enough to force a retreat. All systems ready, the AI confirmed. However, I recommend utilizing the phase shift capability to engage their fleet from multiple vectors. This will maximize our tactical advantage. Explain, Maya requested. The Nemesis can briefly exist partially in alternate dimensional states, appearing to be in multiple locations simultaneously. This allows for attacks from vectors the enemy cannot defend against effectively. Maya considered this. Implement the strategy. All hands, prepare for dimensional phase shift. The crew braced themselves as the ship's systems reconfigured. Through the viewport, space itself seemed to ripple around them. Phase shift active, Atlas announced. The Nemesis now exists in 3-dimensional states simultaneously. On the tactical display, Maya could see 3 overlapping images of their own vessel, each slightly out of phase with the others, but all controlled by the same bridge crew. That's impossible, Elena whispered. Not impossible, Atlas corrected. Simply beyond current human theoretical physics. The main Korvax battle fleet appeared on long-range scanners, hundreds of vessels arranged in perfect formation, the largest at the center surrounded by layers of defensive ships. They're hailing us, Elena reported. Maya straightened in her chair. Put them through. The main display showed a Korvax commander, its insectoid features betraying no emotion, but its voice carrying unmistakable menace. Human vessel, you have violated the technological restrictions placed upon your species. The penalty is extinction. Surrender the vessel immediately, or your homeworld will suffer the consequences. Maya's response was calm but resolute. This ship and its technology belong to humanity by right. We did not ask for this conflict, but we will not surrender our future to your control. Return to your territory, and we can discuss peaceful coexistence. Continue your advance, and you will face the full capabilities of this vessel. The Korvax commander made a sharp clicking sound that might have been laughter. One ship, no matter how advanced, cannot stand against the might of the Dominion. Your defiance is noted but futile. The communication ended abruptly. They're accelerating, Patel warned. Battle formations spreading to envelop our position. Maya's mind connected deeply with the Nemesis through the neural interface, feeling the ship's immense power at her command. All weapon systems online. Target their forward elements first, then work inward toward their command vessels. The space between the opposing forces erupted in a display of destruction unlike anything humanity had witnessed before. The Nemesis struck from three-dimensional states simultaneously, its weapons finding vulnerabilities that the Korvax could not defend against. Enemy vessels exploded in cascading chains as precision strikes triggered reactor overloads. Others drifted powerless, their systems completely neutralized by gravitational pulses that the Nemesis emitted. But the Korvax numbers were staggering. For every ship neutralized, 3 more took its place, their tactics evolving with each exchange. They're adapting faster than anticipated, Atlas warned. Dimensional phase shifting effectiveness decreasing as they modify their sensors to compensate. Maya saw it on the tactical display. The Korvax fleet forming into new patterns, their weapons now tracking the Nemesis more effectively even as it shifted between phases. Captain, our defenses are holding, but they're starting to land hits, Marcus reported as the ship shuddered under a coordinated barrage. The adaptation rate is slowing as they find working countermeasures. Maya realized they had reached a critical juncture. Atlas, status of the 4G system. The 4G system is fully operational, but has never been deployed in actual combat. Effects are theoretically predictable but untested. Maya made her decision. Target their command vessel. Prepare the Forge for limited deployment. Minimum effective yield. Forge targeting solutions calculating, Atlas confirmed. Captain, he advised. This technology fundamentally alters physical constants within the target area. Once deployed, effects cannot be recalled or reversed until they run their course. Understood. Maya turned to her crew. This is the moment the Nemesis was built for. Whatever happens next, remember that we're fighting for humanity's right to determine its own future. The massive Korvax command ship dominated the center of their formation, a behemoth nearly 20 kilometers long, bristling with weapons that could shatter planets. It launched a devastating barrage toward the Nemesis, space itself warping under the energy release. Forge system ready, Atlas announced. Awaiting final authorization. Execute, Maya commanded. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, in the space around the Korvax command ship, reality itself appeared to fold. Stars visible behind the vessel distorted, stretching and bending as if seen through flowing water. The effect spread across the massive ship, and as it did, the laws of physics began to change within that localized region. Metal that had been solid began to flow like liquid. Energy weapons fired by the vessel curved back toward their source in impossible arcs. Shields designed to withstand the force of supernova became permeable to even the lightest touch. The Korvax command ship began to collapse in on itself, not through destructive force, but because the very rules that governed its existence had been temporarily rewritten. Systems dependent on specific physical constants failed catastrophically as those constants shifted unpredictably. Throughout the Korvax fleet, vessels began to break formation, retreating from the incomprehensible event consuming their flagship. Forge effect stabilizing. Atlas reported. Physical laws returning to normal parameters in affected region. Where the mighty command vessel had been, only scattered debris remained, none larger than a few meters across. The perfect formations of the Korvax fleet had dissolved into chaos. "They're retreating," Patil announced, disbelief evident in his voice. "All Korvax vessels are disengaging and accelerating away from the system." "Let them go," Maya ordered. "We've made our point." As the enemy fleet disappeared into the darkness of space, the bridge crew of the Nemesis sat in stunned silence, trying to process what they had just witnessed and accomplished. "Atlas," Maya finally asked, "will they return?" "Unknown," the AI admitted. "This outcome differs significantly from my historical records. The demonstration of the Forge system may have fundamentally altered the Korvax assessment of humanity's potential threat level." Elena looked up from her console. "Captain, I've been analyzing the Korvax communications during the battle. They were transmitting to someone else, entities they referred to as the Archons. From what I can gather, the Archons are some kind of overseeing power that the Korvax answer to. So we may have won the battle but started a larger war," Maya observed grimly. "Not necessarily," Atlas countered. "The data suggests the Korvax were acting without direct Archon authorization in restricting human technological development. Their retreat may indicate reluctance to escalate without approval." Marcus joined the conversation. "Captain, I've completed a full systems analysis. The Nemesis not only survived the battle intact, but has integrated all combat data. Its effectiveness against Korvax technology has increased by over 200%. Maya nodded slowly, considering their next steps. "Our mission has changed. We need to return to Earth with this ship and the Phoenix shipyard technology. Humanity needs to prepare for whatever comes next. The technology contained within this vessel and facility could advance human development by centuries," Atlas noted. "Whether that advancement leads to peaceful coexistence or further conflict will depend on how it is implemented." Maya looked around at her crew. Explorers who had become warriors, scientists who had wielded the power to rewrite reality itself. The weight of their responsibility was immense, but so was the opportunity. "Set a course for Earth," she ordered. "We have a lot to explain to the Defense Council." As the Nemesis turned toward home, its advanced sensors detected the retreating Korvax fleet, transmitting long-range communications toward the galactic core. Whatever force had sought to restrict humanity's development now knew that the rules had changed. Humanity had announced its presence on the galactic stage, not with diplomatic overtures or humble requests for acceptance, but with the decisive victory of a ship no one saw coming, until it annihilated an Armada.